to me, and I'm going to go to my second one, which for me, it's the Chicago Bulls. And this one was probably the hardest to find something. I dug really deep through the
How
trenches.
about to not be in purgatory?
I'll get to that. So I debated Levine bouncing back from his injury because ever since the start of the year, he's not been the same player as last year. Patrick Williams stagnating. He's only 21 years old, and we expected more from him. But I was looking actually through advanced stats, and I know you're not a big fan of advanced stats, but I've got a few advanced stats for you. So, in games where clutch time is counted, so clutch time is any time in the last 5 minutes where the game is within 5, or last 3 minutes, or something like that. In those games this season, the Bulls are 3 for 11. The really interesting stats here are their three key players, which are DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, and Zach LaVine, right? So their leading scorer in the clutch is DeMar DeRozan, who is averaging 5.1 points per game in clutch situations, but he's shooting 43% and 0% from three. Vucevic is averaging 1.5 per game, shooting 36%, and he's shooting, I want to say it's like 38% from three, but he doesn't have a lot of opportunities. And then Zach LaVine is scoring 2 points per game. And this is where I run into an issue, because LaVine is not having a terrible shooting season. He's shooting somewhere in like the mid to high 40s, which you want better, but that's not a terrible shooting split. But in clutch situations, he's shooting 27% from the field and 11% from three. If I'm the Bulls, my biggest Christmas wish is for my star players to start playing like star players. If it's the end of the game and it's a close game, and you're someone that I'm supposed to be trusting with the ball in his hands, you cannot be shooting 11% from three. You cannot be shooting 0% from three. So that is my Christmas wish from the Bulls front office, is for my star players to suddenly realize that they are star players.
I think
I'm going to give you a...
Go ahead, Angelo.
I'm going to give you a hot take.
Okay.
I hated the way they assembled that team from the start.
Oh, absolutely.
I do not believe... Go ahead.
I think that Zach LaVine had a breakout year, and they threw together the stars they could afford around him.
Yeah. I think they wanted Zach LaVine to be, that guy who, when they needed to, would carry the team. And he's not. Lonzo Ball is a great... At times, I think Lonzo Ball is the best player on that team. There's really times where I feel that way.
I think because of his two-way impact, but that's also how Patrick Williams is. There's some nights where you forget he even plays in the NBA, and then there's some nights where he looks like a fringe superstar.
I also think it didn't help that it seemed like Vooch just fell off a cliff once he got to Chicago. But
I think that was a lot of system change.
I just don't like it. I think you need at least one guy who, when the game's on the line, can get you points when you need it.
Right.
And I think they wanted that to be LaVine, but go ahead.
That's what I'm saying, is LaVine is averaging 2 points in crunch time. DeMar is currently the guy that's scoring for them, and that's just backwards. Like, DeMar had one of the best seasons of all time last year. I get that, but...
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of DeMar as a player. He's super fun to watch. He's an archaic player, but he makes it work. He shoots the mid-range better than anyone I've ever seen with my own two eyes.
Jordan.
KD.
I don't think so. I think DeMar's better. I think he's better at getting to those spots. But Zach, he's really not rising to the moment. He's not rising to the challenge of being a star player. And he's deferring a lot. And the times he doesn't defer, he's shooting 11% from three. 3 and 11 is a depressing stat line. If I was Chicago, I would want answers. I don't think it's time for a blow-up. I think you just need to figure something out.
I think the Bulls successfully set themselves up to be the Indiana Pacers, which is the team that's, oh, you're nice, and then you lose in the playoffs to the star players.
I don't even. I think Lonzo coming back will help that because we know he's going to get guys open looks. We know he's going to play good defense. So that's going to help in the end game scenarios. But I just really need to see someone on that team taking those big shots and making them.
I think honestly, you trade DeMar. He's older. He's at his highest value.
You're not going to get value out of him.
Yeah, he's at his highest it's ever going to be.
But is it value? But could it be value by subtraction? Because I don't know right off what DeMar's contract is. I can pull it up real quick while I'm talking. But
just keep talking. I'll look it up. I got you.
If he isn't there, if you're thinking of basketball meccas in the NBA, it's all the big cities. But specifically, you've got LA, you've got New York, and you've got Chicago. Chicago is a free agent draw, even though it's in the Midwest and it's cold half the year. Getting that contract off the books could help you down the line for the future.
So, Spotrac has DeMar at a 3-year, $81 million contract that started last year. He's in the middle of that, and then next year's the final year. He's making $27 million this year, $28 million the following.
So that could be addition by subtraction if you were to find a buyer for him. I just don't know who would be able to use him as a contending team that would have the cap space to take him on without sending something back.
I don't think you send him to be a one and done. Like, obviously, if he doesn't like where you send him, he's going to leave. But I don't think you send him to somewhere like LA. I think, honestly, his best fit would be to send him to New York.
To where?
New York.
For what reason?
He would fit with...
So they can be in purgatory?
He would fit with that team better.
He must really like purgatory then. I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's all I got